Well, hello everyone. How are you doing this evening? I see Hope's painting boxes. Look, the first three people in, Randy, Phil, and Chris. They're like the Swarm Rustler experts. They're catching everything on Swarm Rustler. Randy said he had a bullet. He put a bullet in a swarm trap and had it sitting in the back of his truck that he had just taken a swarm out of and rebaited it with a bullet. And they came and the swarm landed on the back of his truck, y'all. Landed in his truck. Hey, Steve, good to see you. So he sent me a little clip. Hey, Todd, good to see you. Let me see. Charlie messaged me. Charlie just sent me a message. He might have. Charlie, I'm live, brother. Let me see. Let me just answer him back. So I'm sure he'll jump in here. Let's see what we got here. Randy. Let's see if I can blow the video up. Oh, that's as big as it's going to get. Hold on. Well, I don't have a way to share it. Didn't even get the swarm trap off his truck, guys. We caught a swarm. Said it was a big swarm, too. So, that's pretty good, man. I'm excited about swarms. I caught one today. It was I don't like to call it a swarm catch. It's more of a swarm pickup, right? Because it was already swarmed. Swarms pulling the bullet out. I can never find the bullet after I check the swarm. Where are you putting it between the frame and in between the dog ears and the frame rest? It makes it kind of hard for him to lift it up. I made the TV again today. The local CBS affiliate stopped in, did a little piece today. I put the link in. He had to stop putting out traps. No more boxes. Okay, I haven't had it, but to be honest with you, I haven't set out traps. I pretty much just go and pick up swarms that people call me for. You could probably do something like you might be able to do it something like these things for Man Lake and just staple that envelope in there and put it down in here, right? So it doesn't fall over. Hey, Steve, good to see you. So yeah, I was just deciding that, hanging out, just watched the news clip, and decided I would go live and see how everybody was doing. It looks like I might be getting my uncapper tomorrow, possibly. It says it's in transit, but it says awaiting delivery, freight given to final delivery agent. So it's here local. I just have to get it. And so that'll be interesting because the bill of lading says it's 480 pounds or 430 pounds, but that's probably with the crate and the pallet and everything else. So it's going to be interesting to see how I'm going to get that inside the building. But we're going to do our best to get that in there. The news lady was here. It's funny because I have a colony that's a double deep, and then it's got two supers on it. The honey in the second deep, the top deep, or the box is totally full of honey. And very few bees have started to move up. There's Charles in charge. Charlie. Muted mic. Haha. But so that's coming. I got the swarm put back here in the swarm trooper still, and I took the cap out and put the feeder on it. And that's what that sound was. A better pick, he says. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's a good pick. Let's see.
What's that?
A swarm. He just rebaited his swarm trap. He had moved the swarm out and had the swarm trap on the back of his truck and put a bullet in there.
Mm-hmm.
And swarm moved right in on the back of his pickup while he was there. So they just landed in. So good deal, man. That's the way to do it. No, actually, watch. You guys you're going to be amazed. I'll actually show you the footage here. Just so, hold on. Let me open it up, make it big here. Hold on. You got to pause it because it's going to show me some ads, right? All right.
Hey, Todd.
Share screen. I want you to pay close attention to this. Close attention. All right, let's skip the ad. So,
locally sourced honey in South Carolina is all the buzz. According to Discover South Carolina, honey is nearly a $2
that's one of my
million
colonies.
a year industry.
Look what's next to me.
However,
Lit
for
even.
small beekeepers,
Lit,
Okay.
guys.
keeping
The
up with
smoker's
demand
going.
comes at a cost.
And I was wondering,
That's a prop, you see.
I actually did use it though, and I have a bigger date ant one in the back of my colony there. That was a nuke, one of those 3-frame nukes right there this year.
So it adds up very quickly.
And
according to certified Welsh honey judge Cheryl Brusso, there are
so they were
policies in
talking
place
about
to
the
help small beekeepers maximize their honey sales. The state has what's known as the home-based food production law, and it was amended last year to include honey production.
The
Was it-
cottage food law is really the only reason we have one is to support small businesses.
What this new change means is that
That was that
non-potentially
nuke.
hazardous foods,
that
including
was a
honey, are
3-frame
exempt
nuke
from food safety oversight
that I put in
by
a 10-frame
DHEC
box, and
Department
they
of
exploded.
Agriculture. For small businesses and beekeepers, if
And
they
that one
produce
right there,
less than 400
the second
gallons
deep
of honey,
is
they will have the opportunity to
100%
sell their
capped
products
honey,
at home,
so I could pull that
online,
deep off.
or
But they
even in
didn't start
retail
moving up
stores
to the
without
medium, and there's
regulation.
no bees on there.
Walker
Just like,
says,
smoke
although
them
the
down,
act helps
baby.
his business in some ways,
Is that the
there's still
newscaster
room
there,
for
Holden?
improvement.
If I were to sell to like
No.
Food Lion,
I
and
gave
Food
her.
Lion's
She
reselling
showed
it,
up.
well, then it changes the whole ball game. Even though,
Yeah,
it's
queen cells.
not
I was
really
knocking
that
them down.
much different.
As beekeepers across the state prepare to harvest their honey, experts
But
want
yeah, that's
them
my
to know
bees
there
right
are
there.
resources available
It's a
through
good-looking
the Department of
hive.
Agriculture that could help them get the most bang.
But see, they
off
didn't
their
move
buck.
up in the supers.
Beekeeping is
Not on
growing
that one.
by leaps and bounds.
The one
in
with the
South
honey.
Carolina,
This
like
one
I've
right
never
here,
seen.
In Columbia, Night
they had very little stores.
Beekeeping is
And
big
that's-
business here in the
that's
state
another
of South
apiary.
Carolina. There are currently about 3,000 beekeepers and honey producers across the state. Most of them enjoy their own honey, but some
That's
sell
not
their
my-
products
that's not my
to
colonies.
larger
My colonies look
commercial
better than that.
operations. Now, last year, South Carolina produced about 672,000 pounds of honey. The main types of honey is produced in our state: wildflower, orange blossom, and
Where you got any
Tupelo
orange
honey.
trees in South
One of the
Carolina?
most sought after flavor of honey
Must
is
be
sourwood.
somewhere. I don't know. But that's the that was the excitement of the day. So I'm one of the nearest, sorry, let me close that. I'm one of the nearest beekeepers to all of the studios. So they Google and they come over to me, right? So she shows up, she's got a dress on and open-toed shoes. And she's like, "Oh, can we go in some colonies?" Not like that, we're not. So I gave her my I gave her that full Saracel suit to wear, and she had her shoes, because I'm so tall and she was short, the pants legs on the beekeeping suit were over her open toes, so it was just like a total hoodie. And then that nuke that I put in that colony that we were going through, that I was smashing the queen cells, she had 10, she moved up into the medium the first medium, and laid 10 frames of brood. There was 10 frames of cap brood in the medium. And very little stores. I don't know what they're doing. They're not storing honey, or it might have been the cold snap. I don't know. So it was it's just kind of was a interesting day for sure as far as beekeeping. And she's like, well, what kind of work can we film you doing today? I said, well, I wasn't going to do any. But since you're here, we'll go ahead and go in one. And I thought I would be able to pull, see honey in there, but they haven't moved up into the medium that they moved into is all cap brood. They haven't put any stores. There's very little stores in the bottom. And then the other one where I thought was going to be a double deep colony with brood in it, the top deep is all honey. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably either tomorrow afternoon or Saturday, I'm going to take that deep super off, shake the bees down, and put those mediums on top of there and see, because we start having the glossy privet is popping and everything. So hopefully we pull some. So I'm imagining out of that deep super, I should get about 70 pounds, right? At least a 5-gallon pail out of a total cap deep super. So that would put me up to about 200 pounds just with that box and the ones that I've pulled already. And I need to start pulling other honey, and hopefully if the uncapper comes tomorrow, we'll have a video on that, and try to get some stuff done. And but it's been fun. It was a fun day today. Went to work, got a call for bees, went and got the bees, got home, news crew knocking on my door, and did that little piece right there. But I mean, I've been on every news station here locally, including the university's news channel. So I'm pretty much the go-to bee yard right here, close by.
That's good.
And what's going on with you, Mr. Charlie?
Oh, another day in the hayfield.
Another
Yesterday it was 61 round bales. Today it was 35, I think. Tomorrow, I don't know, another 60 round bales, and I'll finally be done. And all. So I was concerned whether or not I'm going to be able to make my Friday night bee chat, but I just talked to my son, and I think everything will be good. So,
hey, look what I got from Lee.
That's the same thing he gave me.
So, I was having a hard time with those gloves pulling the frames out. And yesterday he said, hey, check your mail. You might have something in the box. And he sent me a tool. So, so we're going to try to use that. What else? Oh, so I washed these gloves. I washed the gloves. They were shrinking up on the fingers. And today I put some of that Bix on it, and bada bing, bada boom. Now the right hand is a little bit harder, so I might have to do it again. But this, I mean, I swear you guys need to order some of that stuff if you haven't already.
What's that?
The leather, the Bix leather, Bic 4 leather conditioner.
Yeah, I got that. And right here. And
I'm still going to need some new gloves soon, but it's definitely.
I've been putting that on. I got a brand new set of gloves, and I rubbed that on there. And now
soften them right up.
Oh, it keeps them soft. And I did wash them here about a couple of days ago, and then I put that on there, and it seemed like they were a little bit, it dried them out. So I said, okay, stop washing them. And after every time before I either go into the hive or after I come out of the hive, I put a wad of that stuff on there and rub it all around top and bottom. And it's one of the best things. I have to say it works.
And it's not very expensive either. So that's
You
the
know.
thing, that I put these in the washer and then I just let them air dry, and they got stiff like beef jerky. And
now Phil talks about sweat work good from, well, yeah, the sweat goes in there.
but
And
you can't get your fingers in after you wash them when they dry up.
Well, the thing of it is, it seems like your salts make the leather stiff as a board. And those are like brand, every time you go and put them on, they're like brand new. Or if you or if they're a little bit, hard or stiff, I put some stuff on there before I work the bees. And the bees don't seem to mind it too much.
Mm-hmm. Not at all. So it works well, in my opinion. And just makes it easier to work the bees.
Yep.
But so yeah, that was the thing. I mean, she asked me a bunch of questions that I'm glad didn't make the broadcast, because I didn't like putting the information out there. But she was asking, well, how much honey are you going to get? How much money is that going to be? How much is this? I'm like, yeah, I could put out a number that if, and it will seem very large to some people. But that's why I said, but you got to understand that each one of these boxes costs $25. And then each frame, 10 frames is $30. So it very quickly adds up. So you're not going to just buy bees and make honey and all of a sudden you're going to be like some rich person, right? And so it takes some stuff to some work, some sweat equity to make it happen for you.
Yeah.
But so it was pretty exciting. I mean, it's true. I think the TV didn't add 5 pounds. It added, or 15 pounds. It looks like it added about 45 pounds on me. So.
Yeah. But as far as the bees go, I've been, like I say, the last 2 weeks, I've been working all day and late in the evening and haven't really, as far as the honey bees behind me, a couple weeks ago, I fixed the queenless hives with nukes. I went back in, I think it was last Saturday morning, and ripped off. I took they had, within a week, they had eaten through the whole paper thing. And I went ahead and pulled them apart and got rid of all the paper waste. And I said to myself, I'm done. I got all the supers on there. I got them spaced 9 frame, let them draw it out. Nectar flows, as is slow. So I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna let them be for the next several weeks, and I might go in a few of them. I'm not sure. I have to kind of see what the population's like. And then the nukes, I went through them last Saturday, I think it was. Just kind of spot checking. My thing is rebuilding my nuke yard after the sales and stuff, and I've had a lot of folks call me for queens.
Me too. I had 2 today.
Email, and I just, actually, I did do some grafting Monday, I guess it was, since I had a day off, and it was a last minute thought. And
I haven't had any problems with Robin over here. Now, I mean, if I start seeing a little bit of robbing, I put out open feed. And my thought behind that is the open feed is the lower hanging fruit, right? They don't have to fight to get that from a colony. They can just get it on their own.
Well, the other thing is you got your honey supers on.
Yeah. So, I mean, I did put out some feed right after the rain, but it was an open feed and there was not enough. I mean, when you look at 59, 60 colonies and you're putting out 10 gallons,
no,
it's not, it's not enough to really do anything, and they're probably going to feed it to each other anyway. So, it is what it is. And main thing I wanted to see is if we had any flow at all. And
I set up a cell builder and I grafted like 15 grafts, and it was a last minute thought. And I got to thinking after came in, I said, I got a couple queenless nukes out there that have these queen cells that are like iffy. I'm like, just combine all that and let's make a cell builder out of that. So I'm sure the bee population wasn't good, and it was a last minute idea. And I'm sure the graft is not doing all that great, but if I can get a few queens,
right,
5 queens in your hand or whatever, 6 queens are better than no queens.
I had two different people call me for queens today, and I told them no. I don't have any. I mean, I need whatever I can get out of this last minute thing is all for me just to rebuild. And I talked to Jose yesterday, and I talked to him earlier in the week, and he says he's pretty backed up, but if I needed some queens, let him know, and he'll try to work it out for me. But at the same,
I think, I would go with Mark myself.
Yeah, I've got some drones still. I just don't. If I'm going to
have plenty of drones.
Yeah, I've got some drones. It's just that I'm kind of at the point now that do I want to buy a bunch of virgins and then 50% of them not come back, right? Or something like that, because we're starting to get dragonflies and stuff like that. So I'm not opposed to virgins. Obviously, I've grafted and stuff like that this year, so that would definitely be something to look at. And then
I just got right before came on, I text James. Didn't he teach his kids up there how to graft or something, or was having a grafting class?
He has had a grafting class. I don't know what status it is because we haven't talked about it. But
now I asked him about, there's a lot of. I mean, I know he's schooled you some, and I think if I read about, it's not just the graft. Grafting that relative.
Grafting's the easy part.
Yeah, it's setting up the cell builder. And then I think he said, like when I did this graft Monday, grafting materials was lousy. I mean, I had hardly any jelly. Now, if I'd have done this about 2 or 3 days sooner, I would have caught these cells at peak, as far as the amount of jelly, because you want a lot of jelly to scoop up. And these ones that I did were minimal amounts of jelly. And I was like, if we had a
good nectar flow.
A good nectar flow, number one, but if we had like a check off lift, you need to do this, this, and this prior to grafting. Make sure that all these other things are in place first.
Right.
To raise up your percentage levels. Because, I mean, I've had 95% success rates in the past. Last year, I didn't do much grafting at all because, I don't know, I think I just ran out of time and energy.
Well, I think I'm going to do something as far as website and products too. I want to expand the business, and I'm looking for people in the Southeast that might be interested in, if you go to like beekeeping shows and, your beekeeping meetings and stuff like that, if you wanted to represent Beewares as basically an independent distributor where you carry the swarm lure, the honey rustler, Apis biologics in that area in your state that I'm looking to set some people up to, that want to have a booth at shows and go to the shows and get, you can retail it at those shows. You can set up stores and make a little extra money. That's something that I'm willing to approach, but you got to be active. And the reason I say that, it's not, I don't really care who it is really, but the thing is, you got to have realistic expectations that if you're going to do something like that, that the sales aren't going to just jump in your lap, right? You gotta get it set up, because if you don't go to these shows and stuff, then it's probably you're going to sit on a bunch of product and be kicking yourself in the pants. And that's the main thing. But with that being said, if you get some stores set up and they're ordering, you can make some money and supplement what you're doing. And I only have certain territories that I can offer that to. Obviously, if you wanted to do swarm lure, I could do anywhere because I own the swarm lure company. If you wanted to do Apis, then it's territory restricted based on the territories that I can offer, But definitely, if it is something that you might be interested in, hit me up in my email, and I'll give you the rundown of what I'm thinking, and we can bounce some ideas off each other. And I might be adding. I'm working with Mark Andrews a little bit. We talked earlier. Would also be able to offer those 3-frame nukes, or the package plus is what we call them. I would buy that all day over a traditional package, but again, if that's something that you're interested in, we could definitely get you on the list and do pre-orders and stuff like that for clubs and whatnot to get it out there. And the reason I say that now, nobody's thinking about packages and nukes. And I learned from Charlie's friend Lloyd at the Greater Baltimore Beekeeping Association that you have to order those things this year for next year. Because if you don't, by the time you get around to it, they're already spoken for. So we're going to have to do, do something early this year. And
you order a year in advance, more or less.
So you order basically at least 6 months ahead of time, right? You say in October,
minimum 6 months. Yeah.
October or something like that, September, October for next year. So if that's something you guys want, whether it's queens or package, the package pluses, those are things that I know people that we can facilitate and try to get happening. It might be something where I say, hey, Cudic, we need 1,000 queens. I don't know that we need 1,000 queens, but you know what I'm saying? That's something that I could get Octavio to say, all right, Bob, I got you 1,000 queens. They'll be ready this date. And then we figure out the shipping and we get the best price that way. So, anyway, that's just some thoughts. I'm always trying to brainstorm ideas to make things happen. And, Tim and Hannah had talked about possibly talking about Alabama once upon a time. So maybe that's something they'll be interested in again as well. But again, with the whole thing, you have to be plugged in, right? You have to go to your beekeeping meetings and stuff like that, because that's where you can get in front of people and sell your product or or talk to beekeeping supply stores and stuff like that. And then you got the big dogs like Silver Gorilla that they're independently wealthy and own all these colonies. And I was thinking he's got a bunch of colonies. But so yeah, that's the idea. I've got a guy that's talking to me about a couple of states right now. And but again, until that happens, right? It's just a dream right now. So we're just trying to grow. And I mean, if we know ahead of time, like, hey, Bob, I'm going to need 1,000 frames, or I'm going to need this or need that. Well, we need to know ahead of time, what your goals are for next year, so we can plan, and then we can get a bulk order like a bee club, and then work it out like that. Because I think right now, this community, and Charlie, I think you'll agree with this, our community, I mean, we have buying power. We have the ability to pool resources like that and buy just what you need, right? And probably get a pretty decent discount. I'm not saying it's going to be spectacular, but who knows? We don't know until we try.
The only thing would be is distributors, getting it distributed. Once if you bought it as a bulk to one location,
right?
Our family is across the United States is the problem.
Yeah, and shipping would be different everywhere. But hey, you never know. We might be able to work a deal and say, hey, I got 1,000 frames that got to go over here. I got 500 frames that got to go there. And this is our group, and this is the price, right? So we buy it under one business name, like Beewares, and then we're able to ship it. Hey, we're buying it under Beewares, but we're shipping it over here. Right?
What do you call it? You call that what? Drop shipping?
Yeah, like a drop ship thing. And hey, I got contacts in Canada too there, Ziggy. I got contacts up there. We might can work something out, but you guys from what I see, get pretty decent deals, but the shipping is probably outrageous. Which sells? I haven't talked to Sam and since he called me and said the guy wanted nukes, and then the guy didn't call me to get the nukes, so I don't know. The cells that he got from Qdix worked pretty well, as far as I know. I mean, he was able to meet all his nuke goals. Obviously, we all would sell more nukes if we could, but everybody, like even Amir, told me I've got 3 more nukes and I'm out. I can't do anything else. They basically sold themselves out of resources, which is a dangerous spot to be in my opinion, right? Because then what if something happens to your colonies? Then you can't rebuild those resources to sell again next year. That's
kind of where I was at here in the last month or so, is trying to requeen. I had resources but they're diminishing, and trying to get queens, and where I got some virgins, and then I've got some mated queens. And to be quite honest with you, I had better luck with the virgins than I did with the mate ones.
Yeah, the mated queens that I've purchased, either it's me doing something wrong or they just don't seem to work out for me.
I had a couple of them out there where they were mated, and now they're replacing them.
Well, last year, the Qdix queens I got, oh, Lord have mercy. They were terrible, in my opinion. And I say that with the caveat being, when I bought those queens, it was a little bit later in the season, so they may not have mated as well as they could have if I would have been able to get them earlier. But, you figure they've got all these colonies, but they're raising thousands of queens. And if each queen needs at least 30 drones, that'll put a big dent in your drone population pretty quick, I would imagine, So, let me see.
But
yeah, I've got this. I'm not pollen bound. I've got, Phil. So Jose called me and he said, somebody on one of the chats said that they ordered queens, but they never got them. And it turns out it was Phil. So he said it was, I think it was 33. I said, 33 Mile Bees, Phil. And he's like, yeah, that's him. So then I called Phil and gave him Jose's number to call him. And hopefully evidently they got something ironed out, because they got
got there today.
They got there today. Yeah. Jose's pretty on point. I mean, if he didn't get it there, it was an accident for sure. So, Let me see. What? Followed your advice and waited 5 days instead of 4. No, that's not what I said. Is that what I said? I thought I said, why are you waiting so long? Isn't that what we were saying? Because he was saying he was going to make his splits on a Saturday and then go back the following Saturday and graft, and then he was going to put them in like the following Saturday.
Is that queen cells or what?
He says he's going to have to destroy the cells on graft day. No, you don't, man. You're talking about the cells like emergency cells.
Harvest them.
You could pull those frames out and put some more frames.
I don't follow what he was trying to do there. He's making a cell builder.
Yeah. So,
Alex, come on in here and let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about this. You just called me out in chat. You need to call me out face to face, sir, so we can discuss what I told you. And you might be exactly correct.
I think what he's talking about is that they can't make any more cells
after that day. Yeah.
After 5 days, the larvae is too old.
So kill them tomorrow. Crush them tomorrow if you're grafting on Saturday. Is it going to rain tomorrow too? Oh, that's all right. We got time, man. We just got started good. We only been going 38 minutes. We got at least an hour and an hour and a half.
Go get your camera and set it up.
Yeah. So, you gotta. I mean, you can smash them ahead of time, but the idea of waiting 5 days was so every egg in there was too old to make a queen cell.
Right.
So then you go back and smash them. Now, I can't control Mother Nature. I don't have your weather forecast, sir. I could easily say, well, you made your starters too soon. You should have waited a day to make the starter. Besides, the weatherman's only right half the time. Rain tomorrow too.
Well, I don't understand. I mean, he made his cell builder up, right? As that's what he's talking about, right?
Yeah, he made his cell builder, and then he made it on Saturday, right? And he was going to wait till Saturday to graft. And he was going to go in earlier and smash the cells, and didn't. He waited an extra day.
Well, he didn't have, I obviously with the cell builder had eggs in it. He put eggs in there to begin with. I mean, how are you setting your cell builder up? Are you just putting in almost ready to hatch cat brood?
Are you talking to him or me?
You.
Oh, well, when I did it, I did mine early. I wasn't blaming you. No. You very clearly said, Bob, I listened to you and waited 5 days and then it rained. Now I'm going to have to crush cells on grafting day. That sounded kind of like a blame. I'm just saying, I may not be the sharpest tack in the box, but did it sound like a blame to you, Charlie? It sounded like a blame.
We still like you, Alex. That's no problem.
We still like you. I'll still rub your head if I see you. What is wrong with making a starter one day with no eggs, just cat brood and putting grafts in the next day? Nothing, as long as you got plenty of nurse bees. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I made the cell builder up, grafted, and put it all together in one day. Now I will have to say, of course, it was a queenless hive. I will say that. And
so as long as they didn't have any eggs, I mean, they'll still. You would think that if they had eggs in there, that they would still make some emergency cells.
I think there might have been a cell in there, but my problem was I didn't have a horrendous amount of nurse bees.
See, don't ever listen to Bob. Hey, least we're honest on this channel.
Well, you know, we're
hey, you saw my grafting, guys. I mean, you're listening to me on grafting advice. I'm a year one grafter. But but I mean, the main thing is just making sure the eggs are not, or the larvae are too old to make cells. So once you go in and crush them, they can't make it. And then you could, I think if you go in there and crush them in the morning.
well, what I have done is I've made cell builders up, and let's see, I've pulled let's see, if I graft on a Wednesday, I think I pull them out and put them on the incubator on a Wednesday. So that's Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yep. Day 6 is Monday for me if I graft on Wednesday. Then I wait.
Well, there you go. You're taking too much advice, sir.
Well, that's exactly what I do. And then on a Monday, I pull my cells out that are, put them in the incubator. And then I graft on I have it on a schedule, always on a Wednesdays when I graft. And
well, he does the same thing, but he's doing it on a Saturday, right? Saturday to Saturday.
Right. But I try to and then on Monday when I take the graft out, then I'll go back in and I'll look through that hive, the cell builder, and see whether or not we need to add more brood, and that, i.e. cat brood, emerging brood, if you can find it.
Shake nurse bees.
And then shake more nurse bees in there. And of course, hopefully, as it's emerging bees, they're also nurse bees and stuff like that. Now, something that I haven't done in the past, and maybe I need to, I got to talk with James, is add a pollen patty like this here.
I did that.
Pollen patty and some juice.
I
went there and checked yesterday. I think the juice, they haven't hardly touched it. I'm thinking to myself, okay, they either have nectar coming in, and I did put a piece of global pollen with Apis, and I actually did Pro Sweet, cut it 50% and added Apis to that too.
Did you put in a blank frame of foundation in there?
No, I figure for right now, I was trying to build the hive. I was putting more brood in there to build it up fast.
Let it hatch out. Yeah.
Let it hatch out and stuff like that. But that's my problem. I got X amount of nukes that are deeps, and I don't have a lot of resources to really pick and choose from. And I'm still in that problem.
Yes, sir. It is. I actually went to the dentist the other day. They gave me some amoxicillin and some Motrin, and I have oral surgery on Wednesday, my birthday on Wednesday. So, yep, I'm having 2 teeth cut out on Wednesday of this upcoming week, next week. And
that's going to be.
Yeah. Hey, I might get a couple extra days off of work though.
I would you ain't going to feel like working. That's for darn sure.
You see what he said? He said the worst thing, I checked the forecast as I was leaving, said sunny until tomorrow morning, blue skies, etc. But nature decided no, F you. Hey, I don't know how those guys keep their job. Name another job in the planet you can be wrong 50% of the time and still keep your job. So, so I'm getting to that age now to where the teeth that I'm losing, I'll probably end up with some partials and stuff like that in the back or bridge or something. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, you can take the royal jelly out and then crush them. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, if that's your thing, if you want to preload cells with royal jelly.
Well, that's true. That's what Hardman does. They'll take cells, like actually cells in a cup, take the jelly out, and then they'll put it in a little
and I tried that.
a little bottle with some water and mix it up.
I tried the royal jelly thing, and to be honest with you, it seemed harder to me because the royal jelly that you pull out on your Chinese grafting tool. This is just me now. I'm not saying everybody. There's people that are much more skilled at it than me, but the royal jelly that I would get with the larva, when I was putting it in to the cup with the royal jelly, it was like I felt like I was rolling the larva, or that it would I couldn't tell if I got the larva into the royal jelly, or it was just different. I knew when I did it dry that I could see the royal jelly and the larva at the bottom. So,
well, the thing of it is, remember, you're picking up the jelly that happens to have larvae on top,
right?
And if you got a nice big jelly pad, as you would say, it's great. But what I was grafting Monday, it was like I had 2% jelly, maybe. It was not a big jelly. And the ones that did have it, they were the ones that were too darn old. So
the
A. Larimore.
Keith, can you see yet? Can you drive yet?
Huh?
I was asking Keith, could he drive? Because if my thing comes tomorrow, he needs to come pick his thing up and help me unload this damn uncapper if it shows up tomorrow. And load that in the building. That's going to be fun.
Well, how is it coming by a tractor and trailer or what?
Yeah, and they said I don't have to be home. So I know if I'm not home, they're just going to drop it wherever they feel like they can drop it. And then
I'm getting at is how are they going to get it out of the back of the tractor and trailer?
Lift gate, I guess. I don't know.
All right.
Let me see. Hold on. Why don't I see that? There it is. So y'all get this. Got an email from a taxidermist wanting to buy dead bees that died naturally at $30 per gallon bag. I said, ain't no way I'm picking up a gallon of dead bees for $30. They actually use it and put it in like an acrylic and make jewelry out of it. So, supposedly, Keith, it's at the local hub. So as soon as they send a truck out, it's coming. So it might be tomorrow. It was. I'm gonna grab a drink real quick. I'll be right back, Charlie.
Yeah.
And
so, hey Tom. Let's see what he got.
And I'm coming right here.
He's
right
here.
I'm back. And I'll get paid $21 per mite wash that I do.
Yeah, but how many is the gallon of that's a lot of freaking bees.
Hey, I got that many on
how
the ground.
How are you going to keep them from molding and mildewing and everything else?
They stink when they rot.
Sounds like to me you'd have to take a gallon of bees and gas them and then say, okay, here's your bees. Well, there's more money. A gallon of bees are worth more than that.
Well, hey, if he's got enough colonies, every time he did a mite wash, he could dump them in there. They would just use alcohol so it evaporates, right? And then put them in there. I had the
guy that was on Tuesday night that had the he's a what do you call it, commercial guy. Who is he? Is that Silver Gorilla or the other guy that came on?
The one that we could never get him, Weaves Bees. He was on.
No. The guy in Alabama, Texas. He was on Tuesday night for a couple minutes. He was talking about single brood chamber where he had a lot of swarming problems.
Hate that I can't remember who it was.
I don't know.
I'll have to look back.
Bald-headed fellow, older. Anyway, I would think that, somebody's got 1,000 hives, they would know how to, they would know more about it than I do.
Well,
Mr. Larry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Larry. Well, he doesn't have 1,000 hives. He's got 300 and something. And they usually run double deeps. He's in Mississippi, and I think they were trying. The thing is, with single brood chamber, you have to be on your game. Like, I mean, you look at Ian Stepler. He does single brood chamber, but he's got a crew that goes through them with him, So he's got extra hands to make sure everything stays appropriate. Peaceful Mind. No. That guy, you can't even make comments on his videos.
Who's that?
Peaceful Mind.
Oh.
He's up in your neck of the woods, though, somewhere there, Phil. Michigan. He's a Michiganian or Michigander. But yeah, Mr. Larry watches all the time. Ed threw some shade on me. He made a comment. He said, man, after looking at your splits, I feel good about mine. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And I tried to explain that to the lady that came out today from the news crew. She said, well, what's the hardest part about beekeeping? I said, just staying ahead of all of your colonies, because each colony is different. And thanks, Ed. Every colony is different. So that's been kind of my goal, to try to get them close to where they're all similar, this year. And been working on it. So.
Well, Silver Gorilla, that's exactly the way I work mine. I'm single brood during the honey flow. And then I go back now I don't use deeps. I use mediums. So through the winter, I use 3 mediums. Come July, I'll go back to 3 mediums as far as the brood chamber goes.
Yeah, that's what Silver Gorilla just said.
Yeah, that's what he was saying there. And that's exactly right. Come the last of March, I'll go back to 2 mediums as my single brood chamber and run it until the honey flow is over with, which is in the end of this month now. Or close to it.
Randy says he's going to unload his swarm out of the back of his truck. That's pretty good. When you can train your bees to jump in your swarm trap in the back of your pickup truck, that's the best thing. Best thing ever. The one I caught today was on a chain link fence. Did you see that,
Yeah,
Charlie?
I've seen that. Yeah, I happened to see that.
And I took that swarm trooper originally, and I just used the straps and strapped it up to the chain link fence and put it where some of them, they started bridging on it. And I let it there for, 10, 15 minutes. And they bridged, but a few of them went in, but not too many. And then I just set it on the ground and started using my old brush there and brushed them down, and they started walking in right away. And I saw the queen on the front, but I could never catch her. And then she just walked in, and they all followed her in. So,
well, what kind of trap was that?
The swarm trooper.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's a corrugated plastic. It's like cardboard, but it's plastic material.
Coroplast, yeah.
And when I got them home this evening, I just closed them up in the front.
Yes. Yeah, Steve, no, I don't. I use brood frames that are brown for my brood chamber, and I try to use only honey super frames. I keep them separated.
And then
I find that the brood frames, if you try to use an uncapper, it just will not uncap because the comb is so hard and everything. So
we're going to put that to the test with that steam uncapper, see if it saws them off.
Well, the biggest thing I still say, even with that machine that you're going to get, you're going to have fat comb.
They are. I mean, they're protruding. I might still end up picking some off, but hopefully not.
I was talking to Lynn today, I guess it was, and from Baltimore Bees, and she saw my last video about spacing 9 frames and how it draws it out, and I mean, I understand it, and she said, "Boy, I really like that," because now it showed her what I was talking about. And I'm like, really, I'm surprised sometimes that the folks that don't know some of the small things like that. How's Alex doing?
All right, let me have it, Alex. You already started. Go ahead and dress me down in front of the audience.
No, I didn't want to dress you down. It's just an annoying coincidence. I decided to listen to you, and it blew up in my face, not because of you.
Because of the weather. Mother Nature sabotaged
Because
you.
I looked outside. It was mostly cloudless. I looked at the forecast just as I was leaving. Sunny until tomorrow morning. And I hit a traffic jam on the way, and then it started raining cats and dogs. I had time to drop off the nuke boxes, but that's about it. I didn't want to risk getting caught in the mud.
Yeah, I wish this week it's been nice, and it's supposed to be nice on Saturday. Well, all weekend really. So I'm hoping to get in my colonies and do something. I need to get them to draw some more comb out. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I'm going to take away the deep drawn comb that they have and give them 2 mediums on top. I don't know if I should put the excluder in. I just went and took all the excluders out to allow the bees to start more free range to move up, and some that had honey in it, and see if that works. But we just, we had cold weather, we had rain, and now it's nice, and we're starting to get privet bloom. So hopefully they work the heck out of it.
That privet, is that everywhere down where you live?
Yeah, so there's a couple different varieties.
I mean, Lynn told me that we had privet here in Maryland, and I'm like, she had to send me a picture of it, but I don't think there's anything around me that I've seen.
So this is kind of, this is the flower here. Well, that sucks. Let's get big here. Okay. Present, screen, licensed image. Ooh. So that's glossy privet. And then I have Japanese privet as well. I don't know if I and I have Japanese privet plant. And that's, there's a bee right there on the photo. Matter of fact, you don't see it, of course. All right, so
blow it up.
Maybe it was just being slow. Let me have to share this again. This is the craziness. There we go. Here's another licensed image. And this is the Japanese privet. So this is the big trees that I have that I said it was snowing. That makes these little bulbs. And they turn into these little tiny flowers. And when the bees come and work it, those little flowers fall off. And it looks like it's snowing, because literally I got so many bees in it that they're just raining those little white flowers. So that's
the kind that she sent me a picture of.
So yeah, this is more of the tree variety, and then you've got the bush variety. Well, I mean, it's pretty tall, the ones we got, because they're wild, but they're starting to bloom across the street. They both make white flowers. And the honey that I get off of it is pretty light. And hopefully that will keep going until we get, some goldenrod and stuff like that starting around here.
Yeah.
We can go
like
ahead,
you
Al.
said, Bob, what I'll do is when I get there on Saturday, first thing I'll do is crush the cells. And then I'll use my instant vat to do my last part of my treatment because I always do a 1-2 punch. This year it's Apivar followed. As I remove the strips, I'll add the OAV blasts. I'll do the AV blasts. And once I'm done with that, it might have been long enough for the bees to realize that they don't have any cells anymore. If not, I'll wait an hour or two, then I'll graft.
I don't know that it'll matter. I think they know pretty quick that they don't have it. I mean, if you crush them and then go back in and drop a graft in after you're done grafting, 30 minutes and, however long it takes you to graft, 45 minutes, I don't know. You should be good, I would think.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay.
That was one thing I did, Alex, is where I would pull the graft out on a Monday. And then Wednesday when I graft, before I put the graft in, I would shake all the bees off on all the frames and check for emergency queen cells.
Yeah.
Then I would cut them all, or take a hive tool and hive tool them all, put all that back in, and put my graft in. So you're fine. Just go out there, cut the darn, cells out, and put the graft in, and you're done. I think you should be good. And all.
I'm gonna give the Pierce grafting tool another go. I wasn't using it right last time, so, and I want to get better at it because Chinese grafting tool can be very good or very bad. It's like there's no middle ground, and most of them are very, very bad. So
I think
James. What did you learn, or what have you experienced with that tool?
I was trying to extend the grabber as I was grabbing the larva instead of putting it out, grabbing the larva then. So it was my first time grafting last year, and
it takes practice, and it's like anything. If you do it, and this works better, that works better, that kind of thing.
There was also the fact that my starter finisher was really pitiful.
I don't know. It's like when I grafted Monday, and on my Chinese grafting tool, it was like the thing that slides off, make the plunger that pushes it off. It's like it's going the wrong way. It's like you need the larvae's off to the right, not to the left, as it's bending or whatever. But I didn't have any jelly to really speak of, and all.
I might try and keep the jelly I'll get from the cells I'll tear out. Maybe for the bottom, or maybe for family. I know a family member that would really like to have some royal jelly. I won't be able to get a lot, but
now Ziggy's talking about using a paintbrush, and I can't for life me. How do you use that?
Well, those hobby paintbrushes are really, really long and thin. So my guess is that's what he meant.
But you use it with bristle. You put it on the bristles, or what? Or you cut the bristles off?
No. You take like hobby painting, like miniature paintings. Brushes have some of them have really long bristles and very, very narrow, so you could easily dip into the royal jelly and paint it at the bottom of the cell. You could take like a small drop and drop it in. I know a bit about painting.
So you're transferring the jelly, but you're not transferring the larvae.
No, transfer the jelly to prep the cell, then graft. I assume that's what I would do, but
now Hardiman's down there. What they do is they get some jelly and they put a little bit of water in there and they mix it up, and then they take a wooden stick. It looks like about the size of a pencil, and they go in and out, and there's a droplet on the end of that thing, and then they hit every cell with that droplet. But then they use a piece of copper wire is what it is, and they peen it out to where it's like a little scoop, and they kind of make their own, to their liking, and they just pick that larvae up like a German grafting tool and lay it right in there every time. They, of course, they do it 7 days a week for months on end, and they're like, shoot, they can do 20 bars in 10 minutes. It seems like
it's insane.
It's like, well, they're doing like 2,500 bar or 2,500 cells. every
Yeah, it
day.
took me about 45 minutes to graft last year. First attempt, only 2 took. Second attempt, none. Well, that was in large part, I think, due to my grafter, my starter finisher that was way too small. The flyback split worked a lot better.
What, Flower Street doesn't have any subs?
He's only got 104 subs. That surprises me. As many chats as he's on with us and the good content he puts out and all of the stuff that he adds, I was really surprised when I went to his channel today or the other day.
I hit 300 subs today, so Sparta kick.
See, if Alex can have 300, I mean, Flower Street should at least have 300. I'm just picking on you.
Don't worry, all my family is like that. You should see the I don't know. Well, you should see that sometimes the mean jokes flying around when all my uncles are together. Oh gosh, somebody that doesn't know what's happening think that they're at each other's throat. It's beautiful to watch.
Brian, I mean, he gives a lot of good information, and he comes on here all the time, so I feel like he should have more subs. I mean, I just do.
Yeah, I need more too. I need about 210.
So if you can, please go subscribe to Flower Street Farms. And if you haven't, to Charlie and Alex, give them subs. And anybody else in the chat, if you haven't subbed to them, sub to them. Give them a reason to make a video.
Thank you, Bob.
It's sometimes I do lots of lives. You guys know that. I mean, even if I'm out there, could I have like the swarm catch, could I have just made a video and then came home and edited and then posted it? Yep, could have done that. But I like the live videos because I feel like you guys get to see what I'm seeing as I'm seeing it. There's no hiding if I get stung. I don't edit it out. If I knock
admit it, you don't like to edit.
Brian has one problem. He has a guy 30 miles away with the same name. Really? Flower Street Farm Bees? Hey, Carl. I don't get that much peroxide on my honey. But when I strain it, I hate those strainers because with the way that I was doing it, that it would get backed up. They would get plugged with real fine wax and it just wouldn't go through. And I'd end up having to try to take that rim, that flimsy plastic screen, and dump it into another screen. And it's a headache. And so I typically don't get that much peroxide. I mean, this is a bottle of my honey right here.
I don't never really see the peroxide on top of the.
I see little bits of wax sometimes float up.
Yeah, yeah. You might have a little bit of, I don't know. I call it scum.
It's peroxide. You mean the white like fizz on top?
Yeah, a little bit of fizz.
Yeah, that's peroxide.
But when you warm it up, I mean, it expedites that going to the top anyway. I think when the honey's thinner, it comes out quicker. So maybe that's part of it. And when I get down to the end, I'm like, Charlie, I just add more honey to it.
Mad Mort got something new today. What'd you get, Mad?
Oh, yeah. What'd you get? We like
I'll be back.
Things. All right. Bring me some popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, bees use peroxide as a disinfectant. They're highly resistant to it. So I saw a video where they tested the resistance of bees to peroxide, and they can easily take a dose that would be lethal to humans.
Let me see. Oh, you got a crock pot. Cool. I find with my crock pot, it takes, if you turn it on high, it'll get too hot. If you put it on medium, takes a very long time for it to melt. So I do it on high until it melts, and then or close to being all the way melted, and then I flip it back to medium. And I've seen some people, when it's melted, depending on what they're doing, they'll just unplug it at that point and just use it while it's cooling down.
For waxing foundations?
Yeah, I don't know what he's waxing, but he said he's he's melting down some wax. So I don't know. I've got a solar wax melter, so my first render, and usually all my renders until my wax is clean, come out of that. And if it's got some honey on it, then I just rinse it off and dry it, and then I melt it in my crock pot. So I keep most of the garbage out of my crock pot, and don't, Mr. Sam from South Carolina Happy Bees, he uses a turkey roaster, which works fine, but he just puts the dirty wax in there, and he's got slum gum on it, so he's constantly having to scrape the slum gum off, which he's got a wax melter as well. So
yeah, what I use is a big stainless steel pot. So it's render the wax, remove the slum gum, render again, remove it. It's a pain in the ass. I should build myself, buy some windows, some foam, and some plywood.
Okay, now you're a crafty guy. You like to build stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I build on my lids and inner covers, not the boxes. They're too complicated.
I spent a couple $100 from Lyson and bought the Lyson melter, and I just set it out there. And as I scrape wax, I'll chuck it in there, and just let it melt. And I try to limit my manual labor as much as possible, and sometimes you can find deals on them, and I'm sure there's other models out there. Some people build them out of hive bodies, old hive bodies, and just put a glass on top of them and make a lean-to with some metal. I've seen they use the stainless, the little tin foil. We use them on Thanksgiving for the turkeys, the tinfoil pans, and they just cut them and fold them. So it's still, the glass goes through and heats up that pan, and then it just slides down that way too. I've seen them do, people do that.
Yeah, speaking of labor, I waxed all my gear on Sunday, and I worked nonstop at 80, 90 Fahrenheit, and I forgot to eat. I'm the kind of person that has a hard time starting and a hard time stopping.
That's me too. Like when I do honey harvest,
yeah,
I do it, and then I strain it, and then I bottle it, and I try to do it all in one night as much as I can. And I still have honey in there.
I worked 14 hours straight, and I tried drinking a small jug of cold water, and it made me sick. I puked it out. It was too cold.
You gotta hydrate. Sweat equity. There you go. That's what it is. Sweat equity. Yes, yeah, that's a good idea, man. I've seen people use storm doors for it. I tried making one with a storm window, and 14.3 pounds of bees. Wow, that was a big swarm. I've never caught a swarm that big. But you guys are like swarm.
How'd you measure
players.
that?
Huh?
How did he measure that?
I don't know. How did you measure that? Oh, he might have weighed his whole trap beforehand and then his whole trap afterwards.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a big swarm. Yeah, try to drink it warmish. Yep. But when you're hot, that cold bottle of water or cold beer or whatever it's just so nice to slug down.
Yeah, just don't try like me and chug down a liter of water when you've worked like crazy.
Randy, I think Randy said he caught 6 swarms and his buddy caught a bunch of swarms too. There you go. 6 swarms with 5 traps. yeah, a lot of people. I mean, hey, thank you, Jesus. It was a good, it's working out well. Hopefully, thanks to you guys' videos and stuff like that, it'll only get better. And business.
Is it Earl's birthday? Hillbilly Earl?
Is it? Oh, I think it might be his birthday. I haven't talked to him in a minute.
So what's the deal with him? He had a neck operation or a disc or something. I haven't seen him for a long time.
He put a video out today. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I've been, busy with the news and everything today, so I need to go back and catch up with that.
So that's why you had to shave.
Yeah, he had some surgery done. He started growing his beard back, so I mean, he said he had shaved that for that surgery. James, do you have a heated bottling tank, a heated bottling tank? Now, I think I've been keeping my bottling tank too low temperature wise, because when you got a lot of honey in there, if you keep it at 100 on the bottling tank, it's not 100 degrees all the way in, right? It's cooled down. It might be 100 around the sides, but the honey might be different.
Well, if you leave it long enough turned on, it should equalize.
The one thing I don't like, and I have to research to see if there's a way to change it on the license, it's got a 12-hour timer on it. So when you start it, it'll only run for 12 hours and then it shuts off. So it's not like I can keep it at 100 and just leave it at 100. I have to set it in the morning and then set it again in the evening, like turn it off and turn it back on. So it's a constant thing. So yeah, a lot of people do that. They let their honey sit for a while. I'm not that patient, unfortunately. So I tend to, like I said, extract, strain, and bottle as quick as I can to get done with it. And now I've still got some honey in the bottom of my tank there. 6 swarms on 3 traps and 13 on my friend's trap, all with nice.
But you only have, 1 or 2 size bottles, right?
Yeah, just 2. Just this 1 pound and a pint right now. I've been toying with buying some more bottles. I've been toying with a lot of things, even buying the bottles in bulk and putting them on the website and selling them in 12 packs or something like that with lids. James says I have all the time I need till I die.
Well, I bottle ahead, let's say 10 1s and 2s and maybe 4 3s.
I find if I leave my honey too long in the bottling tank without it on, it dehydrates too much and it starts getting thick again. Or, at least when it's sitting until I heat it up, it starts drying out. Especially if I leave it in a 5-gallon pail, it'll get really thick.
Yeah, you gotta heat it up.
And so Silver Gorilla says he lets his sit for 24 hours. When you heat it up, because it gets thin, it assists the wax and everything floating to the top. The air bubbles and all that coming out. So I'm trying to slow that down. I'm trying to, to put the honey in and let it sit a little bit longer.
There is a blanket you can buy that warms pails. If you want, I can give you
Yeah, actually Vivor's got a cheaper one than the bee blanket.
Yeah, I think that's the one I'm talking about. Let me look it up.
Last year, I was using heating pads, like regular old heating pads that you would buy at Walmart, and just bungee cording them to the side of my pail. It worked okay, but it doesn't get hot enough, I don't think, to penetrate through that plastic enough to really do a good job. But it will allow me, if I've got a crystallized pail, it will loosen it up enough. 110, okay. Mine's in Celsius, so let me see.
I put the link in the
Silver,
chat.
don't you think that's a little bit high? I mean, on my max in, I run it. I had some crystallization issue where the last bucket I put in there. So I did run it up to where it cut off at 100 degrees. And then it would go down to about 92, something like that before it come back on. Now it seems to be fine. Now I try to keep it around on the high side about 98 degrees, something like that, not to overheat it.
Well, Bob froze.
Yeah, he did. And another thing I've noticed is when it's hot like that, 110 or let's say 105, and it's flowing like water, it wants to, when you're filling bottles, it's coming out there so thin that it will churn and the air up. I guess he'll be back. It churn the air up and you'll have a bunch of air bubbles in your bottles. Whereas if you keep it like on the high end at 98, it's a little thicker. It doesn't churn up the air bubbles. You can fill, let's say, a 1 pound bottle up and there's very little air. It might be a few champagne bubbles in there, but other than that, that's about it.
Well, I guess you could warm it up.
Steve says 103 is okay. I said, yeah, it's not too bad. I try to keep it I don't want to overheat it and burn it or anything like that. But I keep mine's on a thermostat and it constantly keeps it at that table where I can walk out there and bottle. I don't have to worry about heating it up. He'll be back.
And if you really want to remove the bubbles, you can warm up the honey inside the bottle after you bottled it.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't change the heat, and when I put this last 5 gallons into the tank, and at the bottom there was some crystallization, and so there was I could see some particles in the bottles that I had bottled up. So I have a refrigerator that I have a heat lamp in there. It's on a thermostat also. I keep that environment at 110 degrees, which in turn keeps the honey around 95 or something like that. I keep 3 buckets in there to keep it from crystallizing as much. And I put those bottles in the door for 24 hours, and they're 24, 30 hours and they're fine and all.
Yeah, I'm thinking of buying a bee blanket to decrystallize. I still have 3 pails from last year, and it's starting to crystallize. But I warmed it up once. I have to use my bath. I just take the 5-gallon pails and just put a bath of hot water, set the pails in the bath.
What I do is my mother had a canner that they used to can vegetables in, and it's got a wooden grate in the bottom so the water can get underneath the 5-gallon bucket. And I put the bucket in there, and then I fill it up with water, pretty, kind of to cover all the wherever the honey's at, and turn the heat on. It's a gas fire underneath of it, and I try to do something like that on a day that I have plenty of time to where I sort of regulate the heat and make sure that the honey doesn't get up no more than 100 degrees. And I stir it. I've always put a timer out every 10 minutes. I'm out there stirring, and it'll decrystallize depending on how bad it is. If it's really bad, it probably might take 45 minutes to an hour. If it's not too bad, it might take a half an hour, 15 minutes, you're done. So,
yeah, the blankets I looked up don't work that fast. If it's like a solid block of honey.
No, I try never to have it that way.
Yeah.
Mine will get to the point where it'll be kind of like applesauce, kind of real coarse like that. Now that'll take 45 minutes to an hour.
When it starts to get cloudy, that's why when I usually take the pails and set them in warm water, just to I don't want those solid blocks of honey.
Bob says the internet went down.
I didn't do it. Not my fault.
Well, we're still here waiting on you.
Hurry up already.
So, what's happening up your way, Alex? What are you doing in your gaming job?
It's always the same thing.
Well, do you sit there and make the game up, or you review the game and see whether there's bugs in it?
Quality control, bug hunting, and we collect server data for the client, and that's about it. Day in, day out. It's a nice job. It's just that I'm fed up with it.
Well, it's like everything else; it all gets old. Now, Chris, the bug man, he says he bottles as soon as he filters the honey. Now, I know Bob has a lot of problems with that. Now, when I do my hunting, I use a Maxan honey plane. I like that better than a knife, where it actually cuts the wax off in sheets, and I don't have them fine particles like he. Well, I still have some, but not much. Silver Gorilla bottles 50 to 70 gallons. So he's doing a drum a week, or a little bit more than a drum.
I need to get better at selling my honey. I need to really put more effort into it. That's my weak point. I'm learning bees pretty fast. I'd say for somebody that doesn't have a mentor and no teacher, I had to teach myself. I'd say I did very, very good, but interacting with people is my weak point. I'm highly introverted. I have a hard time judging people and talking people I don't know. Takes me quite a while to establish now you're
not going to act that way when you come to Hive Life.
It's different. It's a bunch of people that think a lot like I do.
Now, get back to the bug man here. He filters the honey. What I was getting at is, I do have one of them $40 stainless steel sieves that fits on the 5-gallon bucket, and I do let it drain out. It's got a coarse and a fine screen, and I find after I can, if the honey flow is good, 18 frames will fill a bucket for me. And that's about 50 to 54 pounds. I don't fill the bucket completely up. I fill it up to the bottom of that sieve. And then after that, I have to take that sieve outside and take a hose with a squirt nozzle on it and blow all that coarse wax and bee parts and stuff like that comes out of the extractor. And then the fines, it is a real fine wax particles, and I'll do the same thing with that. Oh, he's back.
Hey, welcome back.
Welcome to the Sawmill Charlie Bee Farm Show.
Well, hey, thanks for having me. The doggone internet just died like every night at this time, it seems like. Let me see.
So anyway, I clean it out and then I wipe the screen clean, or if I have a secondary sieve, I'll put that one in on the next bucket, clean the other one out while the extractor's running and all. So that's what seems like what Chris does. But I mean, and I think they said that fine stainless steel was 400 micron. That's as much I don't do anything beyond that and all. We were talking about what Chris the bug man was talking about.
I pay way too much for my internet for it to be going in and out the way it does. I called the tech support and they're like, "Oh, I think we need to get you a new modem." I'm like, "Well, what are you waiting on? Send it," and they haven't. So, I was going to buy an aftermarket one, and then the aftermarket one doesn't have the phone attachment that I need. So
and that was expensive. I think you said.
Yeah, it was $400 for the one I was looking at.
Ouch.
And Doc.
What's that? 800 Canadian.
DocSys 3.1. Up, it's like 1 gig plus speed, and but you can't buy an aftermarket one like that with the phone line. The only place I can get it is from the cable company, and it's the cheapest one they can buy from Taiwan or wherever that works probably. Madmore says my internet's fine as long as I don't watch weird porn. I'm not gonna ask how you found that out. What weird porn it was? Midget porn or something? midget porn foot fetish. Midget foot fetish porn. Little stubby midget women with painted toenails.
That went weird real fast.
Hey, Mad Mort led us down the rabbit hole there. But yeah, I can see, I got cut out about the 110 degree mark, I think, when we were talking about that. And I think the setting for 110, I've seen a few people, even some bigger beekeepers say they use 110 as well. I'm right at
what's that a service 110 is?
110 degrees for their bottling tank.
Oh,
and
I think that's awfully high. I think myself.
But does all the honey get the 110 degrees? Is the question. I don't.
Well, the other thing is are you bottling? Are you doing it 110? Are you setting it there for weeks on end, or are you bottling it, going through that? It's only 110 for a certain amount of minutes.
Right, but if you got 18 gallons in, all 18, it's not going to be 110 degrees all the way through, I wouldn't think. And it's still lower than pasteurization. 90 degrees won't decrystallize honey. Not fast.
You got to have about 100.
Yep, at least 100. And then it takes a while at 100 too,
I'm going to have to go now.
Now that you chastised me, now you're going to run.
Yes, of course. I like being mean to you, Bob. No, I have to get ready early for tomorrow.
Just read some of the comments on my videos. You'll see.
What, you had to get up at 9 o'clock?
What? I didn't get that.
Just get up at 9 o'clock in the morning.
No,
gotta get
more like 6.
Solid 12 hours in.
More like 6, and I have stuff to get done too.
Wait till you get old, Alex.
I bid you all good night.
Wait till you get old. You'll go to bed early and then sleep for like 3 hours. Then you'll be up for 3 hours and you'll go back to sleep for a couple hours and then wake back up.
I'm getting there. I'm 46. I'm older than I look.
Man, I don't get a solid night's sleep for anything.
Good night.
All right,
see you later, Alex. Good to see you. You coming on tomorrow night?
Probably.
Everybody, I'm going to go ahead for 8 o'clock. I've talked to him before I came on. I got this one big field ahead to do. He says I should be in here by 8. Well, hopefully see everybody.
Your son will allow you to leave his operation at 8?
Well, just me and him. We got to get her done. It's his operation, but today we had about half the amount that we did the day before, which we were done by 4:30. Which was good. And he worked till 10 o'clock last night putting stuff away.
I made a quart of 1-to-1 today for that swarm. That's the only colony that I have that has anything on it because I'm keeping them locked in for a few days and they're not going to be able to get out. So I figured I'd put some they've got some pollen in there, and I gave them some. Some syrup so they can draw some comb.
What's the temperature right now?
Right now, 71.
What's it during the day? 80.
Yeah, I got it vented. But 80.
Well, hey, Sean.
Tomorrow is going to be high of 84 tomorrow, supposedly, and cloudy. Saturday is supposed to be clear and 89. Perfect day to roast my bottom off out there. So it'll be, I don't know, I'm getting to that point to where I'm ready to, get them situated. Not burn out, because I haven't been out there enough to work the bees, but I kind of dread having to pull all that by myself, extract it all by myself, bottle it all by myself, Yeah,
I'm mentoring somebody, and he needs an extractor. He's going to be, I think he's probably going to have 300 pounds of honey. Not bad for the first, well, I won't say it the first year, but his first year of really good beekeeping with me showing him the ropes. So I said, bring it over to my place, but you got to come and help me set up my extractor and help me you do the back work, lifting the damn supers.
Well, then it's a whole thing.
Because he doesn't have the tools either, the uncapping tools or anything like that.
Right. So, I mean, it's over time, right? You got to slowly build up your equipment over time. That's about the only way.
That was like somebody joined the Greater Baltimore Facebook page, and they were saying something about a small carbon footprint and, all this you could tell the natural thing. And we thought bees would be good. And Scott said, yeah, just open up your wallet.
Yeah.
LOL.
Well, I mean,
and that's what he's finding, because, he bought acorn frames, and then he didn't, we really were using the snot out of like mediums. We went through a case already. And I got to order a couple more cases, I said, yeah.
Oh, but that's plastic. That's bad for the environment.
What the hell do you think the foundation is?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. Unless,
I've seen some videos here today where they pull out a frame. I guess maybe it was you pulled out that one frame, had no foundation in it or anything. And I'm like,
yeah.
That's
one of my first year frames. And what I do is I let them draw it and fill it full of honey. And then I cut it out of the frame and cut the string off. And then I can just pull the string out of the center of it and makes good cut comb or chunk honey for jars. I don't do too many of those. And as they build them, and those frames, I can't add foundation to because the wedge was broke off and glued into place. So I only can do it that way. With that, so
it was 91 up in Vermont. That's hardly to believe. That place is always hot or cold.
It's like the world spun upside down. We get the cold weather, and everybody else is getting warm weather this year. 91.
So far, it's been pretty nice here. It's been 75, maybe 80 at the most, and it's no humidity at all. It's been in the 50% range. It's supposed to get a little hot and humid the weekend. And there's been some last week. It was downright cold.
Yeah, it
was windy and cold. I mean, I had to put a hoodie on. Here I'm baling hay in a hoodie, and I'm like, really? Usually you're sweating yourself to death, or or wanting to get into the air conditioning.
And yeah, it's been that way here, and I'm only hoping that it extends the honey flow a little bit when it finally pops, or they hit it really hard, really quick, and able to do something with it.
Matt, where are you at? Where are you at up in upstate? Are you around Cornell or where?
87 humidity index.
Oh my goodness, terrible. That's heck with that.
I see people on YouTube using like the blue Lowe's buckets and stuff like that for honey, and I'm like, that's not food safe plastic.
No.
Sean sent me a couple.
My sister has a snowball stand, and she buys pretty much a pallet of what is this stuff she puts on there? Marshmallow.
Marshmallow.
And it's you cut it like 50% with that's a nice looking hive.
That's Sean Bouters up in Michigan. That's one of his colonies there. And he sent me another one.
Anyway, you cut it with, I think, with water and make it more gooey. It's like whipped cream almost. Is that his?
Yeah, that's nice.
And you put it as a topping for the snowballs.
Oh, okay.
But the buckets are reusable and they snap back on and all that stuff. And of course, they're all food grade.
I wonder how long they'll last. I saw Don the Fat Bee Man selling buckets of honey cheap. They're crystallized, but they're cheap. $150 a 5-gallon pail.
That's cheap.
Very cheap.
What kind of honey though?
I don't know. It didn't say. Probably just wildflower, and it's got to be last year's honey, but that doesn't matter. 88 here today. More humidity. The start of 3 months of misery. Silver Girl. Do you watch Cayman's live last night?
Who?
Cayman was live last night.
A little bit. I
watched a little bit last night as well.
I poked in and they were talking about youth programs and all these different things. And I'm like, okay, bye. See you.
They ended up talking about bee supplies and stuff like that too. And
where's this guy located at? Out in Oklahoma someplace?
He owns Texas Bee Supply, Bee Supply now. And I guess they have another one too, Commercial Bee Supply, which I didn't even know was a thing. Maybe I need to see if I can look at that. Yeah, it's a thing, commercialbeesupply.com. It looks just like Texas Bee or the Bee Supply. They're a Hummer bee dealer and repair company. Pulling and extracting. Let's see if they got 4-way bee pallets for $82. 4-gallon bucket. 55-gallon barrels. Wow, that's pretty cheap. Of course, until you put the shipping in it, right? They got barrels.
Is that barreled honey or is that just a barrel?
Just the barrel, just a steel barrel with the lid that you bolt on with the ring.
How much is that?
$26. They got 6-way pallets, $52. Pallet covers, $34. Honey aprons, drum gaskets, drum nylon, honey robber. 5 gallons of honey robber. $460. Empty food grade totes, drum grabber, plastic container, 1 pound. That's a lot of money. I wonder how many you get. Clear plastic jugs. Yeah, so that's not cheap. Not for the 1 pound bottles.
How much? What are?
Case of 300 for $330. So a $1 a piece. So I guess that's what it amounts to. That's not cheap for that bottle, but
is that glass or plastic?
Plastic. They got 3-pound containers, 5-pound containers. Pro grade fume boards, metal queen excluders, but you might have to buy in bulk. You know what I mean? You're not going to just buy a one-off there probably for commercial. But they don't have like, well, they do boxes. Let's see what their commercial boxes are. Yeah, that's not. Nope. Not going to see that for me. They're painted. Let's see. Well, that's cheap for a regular deep. How many you got to buy?
How much?
Order bulk quantities. $13.50 a piece. 78 boxes per pallet. Says it's budget grade, so a few uneven joints, larger knots, no warping. Says available in commercial and budget grade.
You don't want budget.
Let's see. So, they're assembled. So assembled, you're getting 78 boxes. It's 684 pounds. So that means they're shipping in bulk, right? So I just got 480 pounds, was $500 to ship. So if you figure it's $500 and you're getting less than 100, that means you're adding $5 per box. So it's $18.50 or more. Yeah, so that's assembled, but it's local to you. I mean, I'm sure it's in Texas. Nope, it's not either. It's in North Dakota, which is where he said that he overwinters his colonies at yesterday. And they have painted and treated and cleated and all kinds. But it's commercialbeesupply.com. Harvesting. Uncapping. Let's see what they got. No. Why would you have an uncapping fork as a commercial beekeeper? I mean, I understand it's a useful tool, but
A fork or a scratching tool?
It's a scratcher.
Well, you ever see Ian's people? They uncap, but there's a guy right there in the tank, and he's scratching.
A little bit, yeah. But there's no what you call it? Like, well, there's bottling equipment. No, that's just bottles. So there's not a
Do they sell hard water?
Yeah, let's see how much a Hummer bee is. How much Hummer bee?
60,000.
Yeah, it's a forklift basically.
Yeah, I know. Lloyd's got one. He bought it used.
They hold 15 gallons of fuel. Yeah, it's a Kubota engine, so it's basically a Kubota forklift, I guess. But yeah, that's
60,000.
Yeah, Stuffy, I haven't gotten any recently, but I was getting my 5-gallon pails from a local restaurant chain and was getting those for free. I need to get some more. Let's see. Yeah, they are one is commercial. They are the same company, correct? It's just two different branches of the same company and in different geographical locations. But some of the stuff, I mean, you could probably buy from another supplier as well. I mean,
is it Miller Bee Supply? It makes boxes in the Carolinas. They're at Hive,
North Carolina, yeah. Miller Bee Supply had them. Some other people had them too. The Dry Cut came in. I didn't see a comment over there for him. But anyway, yeah, I didn't want to stay on long tonight, guys. I was just bored and felt like you guys might want to chat. And we got Charlie's tomorrow. We might break records tomorrow. Now, Charlie's going to work Saturday, and he's going to be out in the heat all day doing bales of hay.
No, not Saturday. We're done. Tomorrow we'll do round bales. I've been doing round bales for the last 3 days. The only reason we're doing that, luckily, is that our square baler, it needed rebuilding on the plunger, the bearing rollers and stuff.
Let's see, Miller.
So I like round bales. Round bales are way less labor.
Miller
Trying to get my
Bees
son
box.
to figure that out.
They're redoing their website over there.
Who's that?
Miller Bee. So Miller Bee's got budget boxes starting at $21.15 for deeps. Mediums, 20. That's select grade. Budget mediums at $20. And they still sell shallows. Budget shallows for $19.12.
That's one thing that Scott, that I'm mentoring, he's a carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
And he made up, I think, 7 or 8 of his own 8-frame medium boxes. Had a jig that he used, put on the end, and with a router bit thing, and it went around and it cut the handholds in it and stuff, and worked real nice. He did a good job. His measurements on the length was the frames in are a little bit sloppy. They need to be tightened up, maybe 1/8 of an inch, something like that.
Yeah, Charlie's going tomorrow night, Todd.
Yeah, I'm on. I just was concerned whether I can get here at 8 o'clock. That's all.
Old Better Bee's got some. You can buy pallets of boxes there too at a decent price.
Yeah, they make their own bee boxes up there. They bought somebody out a couple years ago.
Oh crap, man, I'm tired.
Well,
been a busy day.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, I think I'm going to call it for this evening, guys. We're a little bit after 10. We've been going almost 2 hours tonight on an off night. And, if you haven't subscribed to Brian over at Flower Street Farms, I would appreciate it if you went over there and did it, even though he's not here this evening. He usually does pop in. But I think Thursday nights are his club nights, maybe.
I'm not sure.
He's in a couple different ones, so it's hard to say. But anyway, guys, we're going to...
And if anybody else hasn't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it too. I'm trying to get monetized. I got 209 more subs I need.
And then he's giving away a 30-frame extractor.
Yeah, right.
All right, guys. Well, y'all have a good evening. I'm going to end the broadcast, and we'll see y'all tomorrow night. Good night.